Hey, Josie with Queen White Pawn. Today I want to talk about how to simplify fractions. And a number like 56 over 21 could possibly be broken down into more um, building blocks because they're not primes. They're numbers that are consisted of two numbers that will multiply to get that. For example, 56 is an even number. So if we broke down 56, you would get something like 2 times 28. And 21, it's not even, so it's not divisible by 2 ever. But maybe it's divisible by 3, and it turns out that it is. 3 goes into 21 7 times, so that would be 3 times 7. Now, here's the thing. 3 and 7 are primes. The primes between 1 and 12 need to be memorized. The primes are 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11. These are the building blocks that should definitely be memorized, at least for elementary students. There are obviously more primes than this, but these are the most basic ones. And if you know these primes, you can make the timetables. You can construct the timetables from 1 through 12, knowing just these numbers. Like any number, like unless the number itself is prime, like 57 is a prime number. It can't be built from multiplying any of these numbers together. But any other composite number, like 66, is 11 times 6, and 6 is made up of 2 times 3, so 11 times 2 times 3 gives you 66. Anyways, let's continue to simplify this fraction. 28. We get 2 times 2 times 14. And the bottom can be simplified further, so we leave it as 3 times 7. But notice that 14 can still be broken down more into 2 times 2 times 2 times 7, right? These right here are, I just carry them over, nothing else. And 14, that's that and that right there. So, and then on the bottom we have 3 times 7. Now here's the simplifying part, is that the 7s just cancel out. And so you get 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, which is, if you check it for yourself, that gives you 8 over 3. So that's how you simplify a fraction. And canceling out comes into play when you're trying to calculate in games. Like, for example, I used to play this game called RuneScape. And in RuneScape, I wanted to get 99 woodcutting. One of the levels, I think it was from 80 to 81. No, it was from 90 to 91. I needed to get about 600,000 experience. That's this number. That's a lot of experience. And we'll write EXP for experience. And I calculated that I could cut certain number of, I could cut magic logs because that's the highest number of magic log. That's the highest, that's the most difficult tree to cut, but it gives you the most experience. And each magic log would give me it would give me 1,150 experience per log. I think it was that way. Yeah, it was a lot of experience. And if I wanted to find out how many logs I needed to cut, I would just do something like multiply. I know that I need that each log gives me 1,150 well, one log gives me 1,150 experience. And if we see that the experiences cancel out, you get 600K, short for 600,000, divided by 1,150, and then logs. So that's how many logs I needed to cut. Give me something like 580 something. The number is not really too important. Let's just assume it's 580. Now, each log took me, it was a long time. It took me 40 seconds to cut. So if I get 40 seconds per log, notice that the logs cancel out again. And so 580 times 40, that's 23,200. I used the mental math FOIL trick that I've shown in previous videos to arrive at this number. And that's a lot of seconds. If I wanted to calculate how many hours it took to do that, I would first convert it to minutes. There's 60, or 1 minute has 60 seconds. The seconds cancel out. You get some number. I forget what it is now. And after that, you have the unit of minutes. Then 1 hour is 60 minutes. So the minutes cancel out. And in the end, you get 23,200 divided by 60, some number, and then divide that by 60 again. And you should get something like 6.46 hours. That's not bad. You can do this thing called AFKing, but that means you're away from the keyboard doing something else and just leave the character just cutting trees there. Or you could find another tree to cut. There was this thing called a yew, or actually a willow. Willows, like you could get a willow like every second, or every like 2 seconds, right? Let's say it was like 1.5 seconds. But each willow gave you 67.5 experience, right? Not that much. But if you cut 20 of these willows, you end up getting about the same amount of experience as if you cut just one magic log. The difference is that willows, like, they were so cheap. They're like almost worthless, 10 GP each. But magic logs are so useful because they're made to construct the most powerful weapons in the game. You would get like 1,200 gold from them. That's a lot. That's like 120 willow logs. So obviously it's like quadruple the value. But they took longer to cut. So it takes about 1.5 times longer to cut. So if your goal is to make money, then go ahead and cut the magic logs. If you want to get 99 wood cutting, which is what I wanted to do, I should have cut willow logs, but I wanted the money more than the wood cutting, I guess. But that's how you simplify fractions, and that's how you do these calculations, by canceling out the units. I actually learned this trick in chemistry from a teacher named Dr. Hook. And he calls it dimensional analysis. But I don't know where the dimensional part plays in. But that's how you can calculate numbers for yourself, simplifying fractions and dimensional analysis. Thanks for watching.